Hello and welcome back to the Heroes Rise Contender series. I'm the Crushinator and we are here in Playoffs Day. Mockery, you're joining me on the co-cast today. Thank you so much for coming on by. How you feeling today?
Feeling good as always. You know, always love to get to cast alongside one of my favorite talent in the Heroes of the Storm scene. And we're actually looking at some really good players today too. So it's just good all around. I'm excited for it. And it's one of my favorite maps too for this game one. Let's go.
We are in the upper bracket finals here. Winner will move on to the grand finals. The loser will go on to the loser's bracket. Draft is starting here in just a moment, so I'll let you know about the map bans. Battlefield of Eternity and Dragonshire were removed by ManChickens. Sky Temple and Volskaya Foundry banned out by 30k Violet. We're going to be starting things off here on Infernal Shrines. Not too surprising there.
Infernal Shrines is just a staple of the competitive series of Heroes of the Storm. You see it basically nonstop ever since it was added. Had a few balance issues right when it got put in the game with the Punisher. Those got tweaked just a little bit. And ever since then, the map has just been super good for comp. So kind of interesting to see it from the very start. And I would love to see if we can maybe get a little more wacky with the subsequent games. But definitely going to be a good one always to just go right into it.
A lot of our wackier maps are already banned. I know Dragonshire is one that used to come out a lot as game number one, but it was banned out here by ManChickens, so unfortunately we don't get to see that. It's been a lot of shrines. It's been a lot of Towers of Doom of late here, as we see our bans quickly coming out. The first pick Hogger goes over to Porky of ManChickens, as all of the usual suspects are otherwise banned. With the addition of Tychus. Tychus kind of a big deal on Shrines.
Not even an iota of hesitation from Porky right there, locking in the Hogger. And I totally understand why. If you're on any map where your macro advantage is going to be important, especially on a map where you can set up infinite spins that help you do the objective, Hogger's always going to have some priority in this situation. So completely understandable to see him taken. Then over on the side of 30k Violet, we have Gunner, not afraid of a potential Tychus being banned out by ManChickens. Now just going to go ahead and grab that Diablo, knowing he's relatively safe away from at least the biggest DPS in terms of meting out kill pressure to him.
Solid takeaway from ManChickens as well. Diablo Hogger is a pretty brutal pairing to go against. That does open up the Junkrat here for ManChicken, and B-Kid is going to be locking in the Garrosh as the counter tank to Diablo. Kind of a classic matchup there of who can, who saves their buttons properly in terms of the repositioning.
Yeah, just you love to see two utility tanks that are mostly focused on shifting the chess pieces around the battlefield rather than just strictly doing damage. That's always what I like to see. Give me some Tyrael, give me some Diablo, give me some Garrosh, not some Medivh, but give me some of those other heroes that focus a bit more on the utility. And I also want to point out here, as we see a Garrosh picked on Infernal Shrines in particular, it is a common myth among the Heroes of the Storm player base that Garrosh is bad on Infernal Shrines because as you walk up and try to throw people on the objective, the Guardians will interfere with your throwing and make it hard to throw the correct target. Now, do you know why this is a myth, Crush?
Because you can't throw the Shrine minions.
You cannot throw them. They are in fact monsters. NPCs spawned by the objective, and Garrosh cannot throw monsters with Wrecking Ball, so feel free to pick him. And there we see a Leoric getting some of that percent damage into Garrosh, ignoring his armor's pretty nice, and an Anduin for Zadie.
Good Anduin pickup there, just so they don't have to see it against their Leoric. It's just sort of a solid middle-of-the-road healer these days, and with two of the top healers banned out, not too surprising there. That does leave Brightwing up. Brightwing Garrosh can be a little bit of a menace, especially with that movement speed. We'll see what ManChickens are thinking. It is going to be that Brightwing here for QTM, and Dansky locking in the Greymane for the last pick on the side of ManChickens. Pretty decent siege between the Junkrat and the Greymane, and good burst potential as well to follow up on Garrosh.
Yeah, I definitely see ManChicken's ability to just shove down a structure with that Greymane, doing all that sustained damage if they ever get an objective. And of course, Junkrat just shoring up the macro, you love to see it. As far as the healer position of Anduin, we're seeing last pick right here is going to be Falstad from Albatox. But you mentioned the relative strength of Anduin as a healer, and I was going to bring up that in my mind, if I were to put it out into tier lists, I would say that Rhaegar is S tier, and then you've got Stukov, Brightwing in that A tier, and we see both of those represented in this draft. Stukov banned by 30k Violet and Brightwing picked by QTM. And then after that point, I think that it largely sort of comes down to specific fit for the situation. Thank you, Dread, for the resub right there. And then once you've got your specific fit, which again, Anduin, I think makes a lot of sense, can yoink people right out from Garrosh, yoink people out of the traps, and prevent the enemy team from yoinking people out of Leoric right there. So, and it entirely also could come down to comfort, you know, as someone that doesn't really have any preferred comfort picks of my own, I can somewhat understand why someone would do it though.
Makes sense completely to me. Looking at these two drafts in their entirety, 30k Violet looking like a fairly strong team fight setup here. They've got the Hanzo Leoric. I wonder if we're going to end up seeing that Dragon Strike inside the Entomb again. Falstad with the global presence. But on the other side, we've got a pretty slippery team on the side of ManChickens. So we'll see who will come out ahead here as we go into game number 1. Who's on the left in the blue, Mockery?
I will let you know in a moment. You should actually probably take that because I've been told I need a logo on my stream. Let's go.
On the left in the blue, we have ManChickens with ManChicken on the Junkrat. QTM is playing the Brightwing. B-Kid on the Garrosh. Dansky is playing Greymane. And it is Porky on the Hogger. On the right in the red, it is 30k Violet. Bandicolada on the Hanzo. Zadie is playing Anduin. Albatox on the Falstad. Epic Player on Leoric, and Gunner is playing Diablo.
Both teams stepping up right here, vying for control. Early combo to Epic Player into the chain CC.
That's Epic that Garrosh power.
It happened on Infernal Shrines. Last time we were casting this series, we were joking about players speedrunning First Blood, and I gotta say, I think that's gonna hold the record for today, but anything can happen. If you want to beat that, you might need to play a global and try and run at the other team. Panda getting saved by the Chastise route from Zadie. Probably had the escape anyway. Blue team setting up significant early rotational priority. Gonna try and channel that into some rotation control and advantages on these first couple camps right here.
Garrosh just making sure no one can pass for free here on the bottom lane, but Falstad did manage to get up there to match Porky on this soak. Take a look at the level 1 talents here. Looks like we've got the target practice here for Hanzo, looking for the range on those storm bows. I think I was looking fairly normal in terms of level 1 talents.
Yeah, this is particularly a map where Hanzo, focusing on Stormbow, getting those double piercing explosions, just gives you so much in the way of defending against the Punisher, and of course securing them in the first place through taking out the Shrine Guardians. Both teams on the camps, blue team already having a neutral siege cap advantage. Now just going to take 3 camps, most likely, before this first objective, the neutral siege, their own siege, and of course their bruisers. Gonna get that pushing during first objective. I'd be kind of amazed if they didn't, but blue team likes the position they find themselves in right now.
Pick up their own camp there on the left pretty easily. They've got the level 4 advantage, as Hanzo had to head on back to base there. Looks like our first Punisher is going to be on the bottom side of the map here. Take a quick look, it's going to be an Arcane Punisher. Probably one of the weaker ones lately, but with the first Punisher you don't tend to get a lot done with it, so not too worrying exactly which one it is.
Yeah, with first Punisher, it is notably, of course, by far the weakest Punisher. And I remember back in the HGC days, talking with Battery. He used to play for Even in Death. And he told me that certain teams actually were of the mindset back in the day with how split pushing tended to be focused, that generally the team that won the objective at times was considered to be behind. Just because...
down here in the bottom lane. Like, interrupt you real quick there. Diablo actually going down. Very nice control there from ManChicken getting the concussion mine, and that's a very, very timely kill. We'll have to see if 30k Violet is going to abandon their hopes on the objective and try some split push here.
Yeah, both teams just devoting a lot of resources to top. Very interestingly, Falstad actually using the Z, flying up to top lane right here, helping his team to win the Bruiser War in this 3-on-2. However, Hogger, we already know what he's going to do every time he's on Infernal Shrines. Setting up the infinite spin, that's just going to be some nice... machine. Crushinator has left the game. I'm not sure if that calls for a pause. Alrighty, cool. And now blue team halfway through this first objective. Gunner stepping forward onto BKB. I know his name says DKB. I assume that's BKB though. And now backing up, Garrosh trying to get out. Phase shift from Brightwing comes in at just the nick of time and saves his life.
One more auto would have done it, but Garrosh survives with the help of QTM. And Hogger, continuing the spin here, is going to go ahead and help finish up this first Punisher. We'll see how much can be done here on the side of 30k Violet to clear this out. Hanzo not too bad at clearing this away, but is a little bit slow compared to others. Albatox in the area definitely going to help out with this clear. But here comes ManChickens. They're jumping straight onto this structure.
I just want to point out the proactive nature of that Zadie pull. Not wanting to risk Gunner getting thrown into the enemy team, just yanks him as soon as the Punisher jumps right on their Diablo. Zadie taking a bit of damage right there from the Punisher, but they're ultimately going to be okay. Yeah, just the push pressure is so good from the side of blue side here, and just getting that early on from ManChickens definitely going to prove to be valuable in the late game as they just continue to open up the map. And 30k playing a little bit safe right now. Blue side getting their second siege camp, neutral camp of the game so far.
Yeah, this right side camp isn't so safe now that they don't have that fort down in the bottom lane. It looks like ManChickens are happy to just grab their own safe side camp, but Gunner kind of thrown into the thick of things there, not expecting the CC chain. Gets the flip there onto Garrosh. Gunner actually going to survive there thanks to that soul shield on level 1.
Highly unfortunate that the soul shield was only able to be popped towards the very end right there. Popping it early on may have been enough to turn the tides, but not able to be happening. Porky getting a little bit of harassment onto Epic Player, but now Panda lurking in the bush. Getting some damage out of Porky here. Porky is going to be just fine, though. He's going to lose just a little bit. Going to spin around, and nothing lost so far. Both teams trading in, and Dansky's actually pushed pretty far up down bottom. He's going to back off right here. Not looking to get overextended and caught by Gunner.
Diablo definitely in the area, but Garrosh shadowing this push as well, trying to allow Dansky as much pressure as possible here. Level 10s have come on in for ManChickens. We've got the Hortipult, Riptire, Decimate. Actually the choice for Garrosh as the fight goes in. Zadie thrown and popped. Anduin cannot save themselves. And that is going to be a kill for ManChickens. First Bullet and Blink Heal do round out those heroic choices for ManChickens.
The Decimate pick is always an interesting one. There tends to be some stigma in Heroes of the Storm around certain talent picks, particularly talent picks that were not often seen in HGC and even in CCL. These talent picks sometimes can be seen as troll picks, and Decimate certainly finds itself in that list. A gank onto Epic Player, but the DQ combo from Porky doesn't land. Oh, Garrosh does, though. Epic Player is going to Ghost Walk right on out of there. Wraith Walk gets out with about 20% HP. Nothing bruised but his ego. He'll be fine. He hits a tap, and now both teams going towards their respective bruiser camps.
For 30k Violet, we do see that Dragon Strike coming out from Hanzo, helping to zone and helping to get some damage out on people who are hopefully trapped inside those entombs. Lightning Breath to really stack on top of that idea here from Gunner. And Mighty Gust Light Bomb looking pretty normal there. Epic Player may be in a spot of trouble once again as B-Kid has the flank. The throw into the stun is there. Polymorph is going to prevent the Wraith Walk for now. Epic Player going to turn it around for an Entomb. We'll see if the Light Bomb connects. Hanzo going to get the kill there onto Junkrat. Finally does loose that Dragon Strike. There's his double kill onto Brightwing. Great job by Epic Player seeing the engagement opportunity to turn around and get that Entomb.
Yeah, I just love that you can definitely tell that these players have practiced this combo, that they know how it works. You see right there, just zero hesitation from the Leoric, loses half his health bar, but still knows that he's here to set up a good Entomb play. And then of course, Diablo loves to have any kind of terrain naturally created for him. You mentioned in the draft even just talking about Hogger Diablo, but what's better than that is a huge wall that isolates the person for a guaranteed wall stun. So Diablo taking full advantage right there, And of course, Dragon Strike, if you know an enemy is going to be isolated in one specific spot for an amount of time, that's going to be a great choice. Riptire advancing in forward right here. Zadie taking a lot of damage. Gunnar as well, but a 75 spell armor soul shield might still not be enough. Gonna get yanked out of there, still going down. Beautiful flank by Porky. Gets a double kill. Epic Player now on the retreat as well. Oh, can't make it out either. And that's 3 kills for ManChickens. Diablo did have souls. They're going to be back. This is only a 5-on-3 in favor of ManChickens at the moment. But Redside's hopes of finishing this objective are dashed. Dansky able to run out right there. Not going to get the follow-up combo from Gunnar. Albatux and Panda are both very low. And I gotta say, after such a good Entomb play, ManChickens just took it right on the chin and came back immediately with a play of their own.
Very nicely done. They found the flank there. Hogger going in and messing around on the back line. Good follow-up from Garrosh. Turns it into a triple kill and a Punisher here. This is a frozen Punisher. This fort already at half means that we could see at least some keep wall damage, if not more.
We've lost Crushinator right there, as we see Crushinator has left the game yet again.
I think I'm back again. I don't know why my internet's doing this to me. But I'm back.
It's all good. I had the same issues too. I had internet issues that were compromising one of my Deep Rock Galactic runs, and that hurt me more than anything. Epic Player taking a lot of damage here on the Entomb. Actually going to run straight away after casting a Dragon Strike. Not going to connect with much of anything. Hits a Dansky a little bit for some chip damage. Ultimately, a lot of hoopla for not a lot of results. Both teams tossing a bunch of abilities back and forth. Full level lead for ManChickens as they back off and and set up towards top lane right here.
So far, 30k Violet, they saw a little bit of success in the early game, but now a level behind here, the fights are just not really going their way. We'll see if possibly the level 20s help them out. The reduced cooldown on the Dragon Strike, the empowered Entomb, I imagine we're going to see an empowered flame breath or lightning breath here from Diablo. Because right now,
Porky.
things are certainly not going their way. Horta pulled out there from Porky. Brightwing was coming on through with the save as well.
I just want to know who greenlit this ability for the instant cast cross-screen untouchable, unstoppable. You know, who decided this was balanced? Earlier also, I had to cut myself off. I was attempting to say consolidate, but was inches from saying coalidate, which is not exactly the same thing. As we see Blue Side now with all 3 of the siege camps in their favor simultaneously, with the 16 advantage, one of the strongest talent tiers in this game. ManChickens at least looking at the possibility of a push, might even go for another play on Epic Player here, but Epic Player wisely backing off despite the minion wave that needs to be cleared. Gonna go ahead and just head towards Porky, but ManChickens is close on his heels.
Here. Epic Player on the top side sees them coming, has to pop the Wraithwalk to get away. Panda Colada is scouting on this camp. There's not a whole lot 30k Violet can do here. They know they don't have the 16s. We're going to see an Entomb onto 3 here. Dragon Strike comes out, but no one's still inside the Entomb. I'm surprised 30k Violet went for that there.
Definitely seemed like a bit of a desperation play. And the big thing about Dragon Strike really is that you have such a large delay before it's going off that you prefer not to have to cast it just in that situation reactively, giving the enemy team plenty of time to walk away. Both teams now trading hits back and forth, but with the safety and the sanctuary of this fort provided to 30k Violet, they know that they can wait out 16 and get on equal talent tiers here. Now we see ManChickens, Dansky heading back towards that bruiser camp. Again, ManChickens just consistently showing an advantage in these camp clears, especially now in the late game as they've managed to paint the whole map their team's color. Just absolutely beautiful. Both teams now setting up here, and despite a significant ManChickens advantage, this is still an equal talent tier fight at the end of the day about to come up for us.
This is a big moment here for 30k Violet. If they can't turn it around here, that means they've got quite the mountain ahead of them to try to get back into this game. ManChickens has the Shaman camp now pressuring. Shrine is about to be active. Falstad's still in the bottom lane here. We'll see when Falstad chooses to come up. This isn't one of the better spots for Hogger to start the spin, but the clear, nonetheless, is going pretty well here for ManChickens.
The team looking to take an early lane advantage right there, getting lots of vision. Epic player eating a trap, eating a second trap, not gonna get thrown by BKB, however. Diablo going in towards the backline will get the light bomb. Lands onto QTM, but a cleanse onto BKB. Riptire coming out. Huge lightning breath, almost taking out QTM. Albatox got to get yanked out by Zadie before they go down. Ooh, and another combo onto Porky from Gunner. There's the Dragon Strike right there. But blue side doesn't really care about it. They're just going to walk right past it. Another pull does not save Diablo, and Leoric goes down as well. A double kill in favor of ManChickens. 30k, wow. Just 30k yearning to pick up that third kill this game, but absolutely cannot happen so far. Wonderfully played by ManChickens consistently over and over. Garrosh even setting up very aggressively right here. As blue team knows, they've got Hogger taking care of all of their shrine clear. They know what they can focus on, and this is a deep flank by BKB.
Garrosh checking out the edge there as we have the Punisher on the way.
I think I've been calling him BKB. I think this is actually B-Kid, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. BKB and B-Kid are very different people. Thank you for correcting me there, Crushinator.
So this is going to be ManChickens pressuring in here halfway to level 20 as this Punisher gets the jump on over. Epic player with a nice bait there on the Wraith Walk. See if they can hold on to this keep. Punisher is starting to lock in here. A little bit of that mortar damage is starting to land. Looks like ManChickens not going to fully commit to this just yet. Their 20s are about to be here, but not going to take this fight. Looks like they're just going to rotate over to the mid lane.
Blue team just looking to get any advantage with 20 they can. They've got Greymane on a bit of a small split push at the moment. Epic player stepping forward aggressively, does not elect to use the Entomb and set off a fight down heroic talent tiers, or sorry, storm talent tiers. But at the moment, they have a long way to go to hit 20, and this blue team is already pressuring their base. Is going to take any advantage they can. Even just the smallest little misstep could mean death, and subsequently a keep, or even the game in favor of ManChickens right here. 30k Violet has their work cut out for them.
Junkrat just throwing in those grenades, just slowly taking it down. Nice silence and reposition onto the Leoric. There's a quick pick there for ManChickens, and that's going to allow them to step up. Without that Entomb possibility, they feel a lot safer here in the top lane. If they can find another pick, they can possibly go for more. The Loot Horde almost trapping Anduin there, but Zadie able to slip on by. There goes the keep for ManChickens, and they're going to head on back and just keep up the pressure with this Shaman camp.
Yeah, they know that top right now is not a super viable end condition, but so stealing this Bruiser camp puts some passive pressure on the side lanes and helps to set up their next mid push or whatever comes by. Let's see right here, Danesky stepping up at the moment. No gate at all available in the mid lane, and that Hunter's Blunderbuss just so sick with the wave clear and so good with the pushing.
Augur working solo in the back for now, just keeping that pressure up. That is something that ManChickens has consistently done this game. We said it earlier, we're saying it now. We've got a camp pushing in the top lane. We've now got a camp pushing in the mid lane. Augur's about to release a camp into the bottom lane. They're just leaving no room to breathe here for 30k Violet.
Yeah, and that's just what happens when you win both the team fights and the macro side of things. If you're just advantaged all around, the enemy team quickly finds himself in an entirely untenable position. Gunner right there, forced to pop the soul shield. Does have completely full souls though, so 75 spell armor makes it significantly harder to burst him down, as well as when you pair it with Anduin's Leap of Faith. Eating the Junkrat trap in the backline right there after pulling it to a safe distance backward. But still, ManChickens utilizing what time they have with a level 20 advantage right here. Oh, and there's a flank by Porky onto Panda!
Zadie has the pull there. Entomb comes out from Epic player but doesn't find the trap. Porky with the negative armor gets hit with the scatter. Oh, is sniped by the Stormbow a moment before QTM can come on through with the phase shift. Wow, I can't believe the range and the timing on that one.
Yeah, that was a kill that was only possible through the use of target practice. Hanzo's level 1 Q extending quest talent right there. Just barely managing to pick off Porky. And if I know Porky, he was raging and he was checking his death overlay right there, checking his death recap. I guarantee you the amount of overkill has been mentioned. But nah. If there's, hold on, that's a combo on the Epic player already. Oh!
Nicely done there. There's the light bomb. Unfortunately, not going to connect there as Diablo was rooted. B-Kid a little bit low there, is going to get the heal in time there from QTM. That's a nice little pickup there for ManChickens, and that's going to allow them to stay around on this point a lot more than they were a second ago.
Okay, wow, that's just 2 kills in rapid succession, each of which changing the direction of this game. You have it looking almost unlosable for ManChickens, and all of a sudden a miraculous counter kill, and B-Kid still not going to be able to escape. Wonderfully timed to Hellgate by Gunner for the body block. B-Kid just trying to buy his team time. He says the longer they take to kill me, is the less time they're spending clearing this objective. And you know what? It looks like it worked. B-Kid sacrificing his life right here, but securing the objective. Dragon Strike for the umpteenth time, not going to hit anything. And now, Blue Side, ManChickens, no main tank, 4v5, trying to push up right here. Oh, and Tomb does not connect, but does actually block off the advancement of Blue Side. Epic Player walking off, Riptire coming forward. And this is not, oh, Epic Player.
Yorick taken down there. That was a 4v5 push from ManChickens with this objective follow-up. They're going to pick up this mid keep for sure here. Garrosh still down for 25 seconds. I don't know if ManChickens can pressure in, but they've got the top lane minions as well. Gunner is polymorphed and rooted. This is big trouble here. Oh, the Punisher follow-up, but somehow Diablo's still surviving. Core shielding is now down. Dainsky on the top side is locked in with these autos. Albatox has the Mighty Gust, though. Gunner trying to create some space here as the light bomb is going to connect onto 3. Core down to 48% as Diablo's souls are reset. The Punisher is punishing the members of 30k Violet. Anduin and Falstad both go down. And this looks like it's going to be game number 1 going over to ManChickens in quite exciting fashion.
The Porky Death in the late game had things looking a little questionable, but just the composure to just turn that around and just continue to farm Epic Player a little bit in the late game right there and set up the advantage. And I gotta say, also just the ability by B-Kid to die in a useful way when he found himself caught inside that enemy backline, baiting the enemy team just away and away and away from the objective, securing that vital last Punisher. Just truly some focused play under pressure right there from ManChickens. Yes, they were ahead the entire time, but even when you had just minor mishaps, things not going their way, and even major mishaps, they just knew exactly what to go for right there, and that is experience right there. Not only knowing how to win when ahead, but knowing how to fix the problems that inevitably occur. Just very well done, like a well-oiled machine right there from ManChickens for game 1.
Looking very, very strong for sure. It seemed like they were just a step ahead the entire game there, really using the space that Garrosh creates in the early game. Not just to, move around safely, but to get stuff done. Camp invades, siege points onto walls, finding space on the objective. They did a really, really nice job of pushing the advantage that an early Garrosh can create. Taking a look at these talents, not seeing anything too crazy here. Was regular traps here for Junkrat. Is that Big As? No, that's Trap 'em All on 13. That's kind of become the go-to. What I've seen from a lot of Junkrats is they're fine not having the, minion ignoring text. They just still want 2 traps.
The ability to have 2 traps still just locks down a significant amount of area, and as long as you're not putting the traps where the minions are in the first place, then that means the only way it's really going to matter is if the enemy team drags said traps all the way into the minion wave, which realistically often is just not time possible. It's time is too much of a constraint in scenarios like that. Definitely, though, a character that has very controversial talent choices on Junkrat right there. I feel like I see a little bit something different every time, and I know I've got my own little secret spice that I run on Junkrat and everything. I think it's honestly, at the end of the day, a testament to how ridiculously strong that is, as Junkrat is one of those characters that in the past year or two, Blizzard has just decided to sort of walk by and bless with the buffs and make very, very good, despite already being okay. Definitely a strong hero, and I'd honestly be pretty amazed to not see some Junkrat representation in either a pick or ban on one of the other very wave clear centric maps in the game right here, Tomb of the Spider Queen.
We are going to Tomb of the Spider Queen here for game number 2. This was the choice of ManChickens. 30k Violet opted for first pick here. And yeah, when I think of Junkrat, I think of Tomb of the Spider Queen. Not only is it a huge wave clear map, there's also a ton of rotations that Junkrat can ward with that concussion mine, can ward with those traps. But Junkrat can also do all of those things from relative safety because of how short the lanes are. So that's why we tend to see things like, Chromie used to be very highly picked when she was more powerful, just because of the extreme range. You tend to see a lot of Hanzo here still, just because of how safe Hanzo can be and how many walls Hanzo can use that natural agility on. So we'll see what the battle for the ranged heroes is going to look like here on Tomb.
Player pools always just come in huge, and of course, I feel like the last Grandmaster player that likes Tassadar, but whenever I'm on Tomb and I need that wave clear, I feel the need to just get some of that for myself. That is a big raid by Marlowe. Marlowe viewers, welcome. We're watching the playoffs, the upper finals, which is not the grand finals, not to be confused with the grand finals, of Heroes Rise Challenger Series. I'm just stumbling over all my words today. It's just that I'm so excited to see you, Marlo. Thank you very much. Let's make this a good game right here.
Let them know that we're ready to go here as the players are all in here for our Tomb of the Spider map. Hopefully everyone in chat's having a good time. Seeing Lunafox and Goon, Easy K, Melville are here. You're all having an excellent evening here on a Sunday. This is a particularly interesting Sunday for me because tomorrow my gym finally opens again. So I'm going to get there, and I'm going to completely tire myself out, and there's probably a coin flips chance that I injure myself. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow morning, because I think they closed like a month and a half ago now, and finally getting back into it is going to be a sore experience.
Well, goodness. Best of luck in that focus right there. Marlowe announces to me that he is now 70% win rate in SL on Tracer. I say stop stealing my thing, Marlowe. But congratulations on your gym opening, Crush. As we go into game 2 right here, ManChickens currently with the advantage, and I gotta say I've got some heroes on my mind. I'm thinking, does the Leoric return after some questionable value in game 1? Are we gonna see a Hogger? Are we seeing the Junkrat? That's a Urel first, man. That's not what I expected.
Porky has put together some pretty good Urel games here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, so I'm imagining that's a target coming out from 30k Violet. And Johanna removed, as is tradition.
Of course. You've got the best wave clear tank on the most wave clear important map. It naturally makes sense.
Stukov next to be removed by 30k Violet, so not willing to pick that up first themselves. As we see the Rhaegar band away. Do we see the Hogger taken here? The Hawk is a possibility. Blaze is a possibility.
Junkrat is on the table.
Junkrat is up. See if 30k Violet's willing to play it. Not sure I've seen them play it. Maybe Panda Colada.
Hey.
Yeah, okay. Panda Colada is going to pick it up here. See how they do.
And I will say there are 2 pocket picks that Porky has had, say that 5 times fast, that I would love to see him pull out at least one of them here. But Porky, in a lot of my Storm League games, has been particularly fond of Maiev and Zeratul. Ooh, okay, there's the Lunara. Could still be paired up with either of those heroes, but Maiev and Zeratul both bring you a lot of wave clear to your team composition, and can also just punish certain compositions from late in the draft, just like a sort of complete sucker punch, completely unseen until you look at your draft, you look at that last pick, and you realize, oh no, we're gonna get Maiev, we're gonna get Zeratul. Oh no. It's far too easy to come up into those situations when you're against someone who has such a large hero pool as Porky, and there is the reprise of Hogger right there, now playing for 30k Violet rather than ManChickens. I'm intrigued by such early priority on the Lunara, honestly, right here. Do you know what's going on there, or are you as befuddled as I am, Crush?
ManChicken in the first phase of HRC has played a ton of Lunara here. On any map, really, so it's not too surprising to see it picked up by ManChicken. It is a little bit surprising to see it so early, which makes me wonder if they're possibly trying to hide another pick here.
Yeah, because I wonder how much Lunara is really contested right there. It absolutely could be to hide something. And what I hope it means is that they're holding Porky's DPS pick for a late pick flex pick of something really good that would punish this enemy team. But who knows?
It's possible that they have Dansky take the off lane here, or they do like an off lane Zeratul like you were mentioning. See what their next two picks are going to be. With Stitches, usually you want some kind of follow-up CC. You can do it with a Brightwing. That's what it's going to be. Brightwing here from QTM, and Porky's going to grab the Dahaka, leaving Dansky to flex.
Porky on the Dahaka. Dahaka, I mentioned earlier, the heroes that were graced by Blizzard to be buffed while already decent, and Dahaka also finds himself among that list. Very strong hero, and, you know, although a lot of people like that global on those bigger maps, you can still absolutely take advantage of it, even on a small map like Tomb of the Spider Queen. That's faster respawns, that's instant cross-map rotations. Small as they may be, it's faster than walking. It's going to be a lot to see right here. Gunner actually picking up the Uther main tank. You'd love to see it right here. This looks like a pretty classical double support into a carry composition. Going up against the completely different playstyle with fishing for the hooks with Stitches and farming for that late game on Dansky's Nazebo. It's going to be interesting to see the clash between these two styles here.
It's definitely interesting. Lunara, Nazebo, not exactly fast damage, but it scales up very well in the late game here versus the Uther Anduin. I mean, the spread healing is okay. Both of them you think more of as single target healers for the most part. So I think ManChickens, we'll see what their early game looks like here. Usually, you know, a double healer with an Uther is a little bit better at brawling in the early going. But I don't know. This isn't a map where you have to brawl all the time either. So I think choices and playstyle is going to play a lot into who ends up ahead in the early going here on Tomb.
And one of the best parts about running main tank Uther is that you get double support without sacrificing too much in the macro department by losing your traditional main tank rather than losing a traditional DPS for the healer slot. But let's get into the game right here and let's look at the rosters. I'll start us off with 30k on the right side. Right here we have Albatox playing the Vala, Deputy Vala player, those are rare, Zadie on the Anduin. We have Gunner playing that main tank Uther, Epic player on the Hogger, love the ship in the bottle, and Panda gonna be on the Nimbus Cloud as the Junkrat.
On the left in the blue, we've got ManChickens with B-Kid on the Stitches, Porky playing Dahaka, QTM is on the Brightwing, Dansky on Zebo, and ManChicken on that Lunara.
Ooh, right
Drag
there.
gonna come out to start. Polymorph follow-up is gonna force the pull from Anduin. Big hook onto Panda Colada there. Junkrat is going to get away, so fireworks to start things off. No sub 20 second deaths here. Game 1 record gonna stand here so far in this series.
Yeah, I saw that pull by Zadie right there, and I was like, Zadie knows that they're not hitting that new speedrun record. Ooh, Gunner actually deftly intercepting the hook from Albatox right there. Would much rather tank it himself than force the squishy Vala to get right into the thick of things. That's an aggressive concussion mine onto B-Kid, not BKB, as he walks away. Not too actually injured by that situation right there. Gunner taking out the Wisp in mid lane. Ooh, a little bit of damage trading back and forth. Spiders going out onto Albatox. Gonna want to run away from those swiftly. Smartly using the extra vault right there to create some separation from Spiders, saving themselves some damage. And we've got Gunner holding down bottom lane while we see Hogger over here taking out the Bruisers.
Epic player able to make short work of those Bruisers solo, as Hogger is often known to do. Meanwhile, ManChicken sending the entire team over to the Bruisers just to try to get it done equally as quickly as a single Hogger.
Ooh, Porky actually started the siege camp back there, but decided against it. Got off of it after getting some damage out. Gunner scouting it out, not finding anything. Not 100% sure that Porky's in that bush. Both teams now at their Bruiser camp, but oh no. Despite getting the Bruiser camp early, 30k Violet's Bruiser camp is completely unguarded. It's actually going to be a straight-up advantage for ManChickens at the moment right here. Dansky backing off before the rotational pressure is going to come in too hard. And this is setting up for a strong middle push from ManChickens, and potentially even maybe a siege camp play in that bot lane later.
Yeah, I mean, getting the bruisers out first, significantly first, is nice if you're there to have that support. Otherwise, it just kind of gets cleared right at the wall. We're seeing that happen right here, as now ManChickens getting some pressure, able to escort their bruisers in, and Lunara putting some good damage onto this structure.
B-Kid able to deposit his gems in the mid lane. Big damage onto Alpatox right there, who did go for a full auto attack build. Definitely just your classical hyper carry. Expects to be able to play rather aggro and play for sustained DPS in fights right there. I can never decide if I wanted to say sustained or extended, so of course, you know, your brain does that thing where you just pick the best of both worlds. And now we see Gunnar with the Hammer of Justice onto B-Kid, getting dragged into the backline, and that's a triple stun from Epic Player. Oh, you love to see it with these angles as well. Brightwing going down, Gunnar just barely avoiding death, walking away. First blood in favor of 30k Violet, second blood in favor of 30k Violet as well. Epic Player now running Porky down with another beautifully crafted Hogger angle. Just gonna get some extra poke damage in though, not gonna be able to finish anything off right there. And now I mentioned the siege camp, but 30k Violet actually looking to take it for the first time this game. Wonderfully executed first fight right there.
Very nicely done by our double support team on the side of 30k Violet. They're going to grab that bottom camp as Gunnar picking up the soak in the mid. See if they have the room to create a turn in here, as it looks like they're just going to go ahead and get a little bit of lane pressure going before getting those gems turned in. Looks like a significant amount. No, they have enough. Enough go in on the bottom side. I was wondering if they would need another one. But it's just enough, and we're going to get ourselves some red web.
B-Kid's taking a lot of damage. Ooh, B-Kid dropping down to about 20%. He's going to get the phase shift, plus the healing fountain. It's like nothing ever happened. Panda now clearing out this top lane right here. And getting the wave clear before the web weavers is very important. It does dictate where those web weavers spawn. Alpatox taking a bit of damage right there, but they know they're with two healers. They don't expect to be in too much danger in those poke damage, chip damage trading situations. Daneski eating a trap will get concussion mined, not to anywhere particularly threatening though. Red side stepping up, but this mid web weaver is already going down. Now gonna cycle over to the top lane and try and see what damage they can do there.
Anacolada already locked onto the wall here as Dansky tries to step up and get the clear started. Albatog's in a little bit of trouble on the edge as B-Kid flanking alongside QTM. Allowing Gazebo to get some free clear on the top side here. Getting some good pressure on the 30k Violet as well. So it looks like the walls are going to go down in the top, the wall and most of the fort going down in the bottom side, but all structures remain standing, which is usually a pretty good outcome. If you lose any forts on the first turn in, could mean some serious trouble down the road. Looks like we have
losing
a pretty
early
aggressive
objectives
flank
just
here on the
never
bottom
feels
side.
good.
But Porky able to get away there.
Yeah, Daka, noticeably a very difficult offlaner to gank in general. Just with the extra health bars, with the ability to burrow underground, Gunnar actually taking a lot of damage, will get hooked back into the fray, only dropping down to about half. It takes a lot of damage to kill people through double support right there. He's going to be perfectly fine. Alpatox stepping forward here, not afraid to get some hits in, and Alpatox knows as long as it's even a neutral damage trade, they're getting stacks on Creed of the Hunter, their early game damage. Quest, B-Kid taking a lot of damage right here. Gonna get the phase shift now. Porky stepping forward, does land the tongue onto Gunnar, huge tongue, and not even the leap of faith enough to save him. Really well executed by Porky right there, absolutely running that Uther down. Dansky gonna shore up the macro in the top lane. QTM finishing off these turrets. This is gonna be first web weavers over for ManChickens, second web weaver of the game. Right here, looking for the push, both teams level 10.
10s do come in here. We have the Isolation and the Gorge available for the side of ManChickens, going to be able to start to try to pick apart this double support team. Blink Heal, Thornwood Vine, and Haunting Spirit actually going to be the final lock in there for Nazebo. On the side of 30k Violet, we're looking at the Hortapult, Rain of Vengeance, Light Bomb, Riptire, and Divine Shield. Nothing too spicy there. Over the side of 30k Violet, just well-proven ults. Oh, Junkrat actually going down in the top lane there. Dansky had to pop the ult, but got the kill and is now going to get a ton of free push.
You know, I think any player would take that trade. The ult for the kill, as we see Dansky just getting massive damage onto this top lane right here. Guaranteed Spirit of Eric here procs as well in that fort. And those gems for 30k that were held by Junkrat just completely gone out of Panda's hands. Gunnar stepping forward. Porky looking for the aggro isolation. Lands it onto Uther, but not able to get anything out of it. Now a very unhealthy blue web weaver pushing through that top lane will get cleared soon. But ManChickens just wants to finish this mid fort if they can. There it is.
Trying to step up for the poison, and there's the spiders from Nazebo to seal the deal. 2 forts off of their first turn-in of the game. Very nicely done. Cruiser camps are up, so we're going to see the teams head on over that way to do their chores. Junkrat clearing up the top lane here for 30k Violet. As, once again, 30k Violet, they've got to make sure that this early, sort of mid-game lead doesn't snowball out of their control.
We see Porky's about to have some company in the bot lane right here as Gunnar approaches. There's a Hortipult onto the point by Epic player. Lands the stun. QTM actually in a lot of danger. Will go down, and wow. Trying to save Porky does get caught. Gorge onto Gunnar, gonna bring him out of the fort, but Zadie is around, plus the Divine Shield. I think that maybe was a little overkill without any damage pressure in the bottom lane as we see Dansky and ManChicken both clearing out mid right there. Maybe a little trigger happy with the ults on the side of 30k Violet with the Hortipult and the Divine Shield being used so quickly. But honestly, I'd rather my players be a little over-aggressive than a little under-aggressive with their ultimate usage, so I don't hate it. We see the first fort in favor of 30k Violet being taken. Now B-Kid being forced to step back at the moment. Oh, the Loot Horde not blocking his path, just barely. Hook gets denied by the unstoppable Hog Wild. Now red side clearing out these bruisers as Dansky depositing gems, and ManChickens has exactly enough gems on their team to look at this first objective, mostly in the hands of Porky, who does have them in. Only 3 more. B-Kid's gonna get it right here, it seems.
There we go. That is going to be a perfect turn in here for ManChickens. Very nicely done. Nazebo once again going to pressure that top lane, going to demand a response from 30k Violet. See what the pressure point is going to be right now. Augur staying safe. Porky moving down to go against Epic player, while the rest of the team trying to decide which lane they want to pressure.
I just took a look at Dansky's stacks on Nazebo, and yeah, he's going to finish Vile Infection if he so chooses. I actually think that, though, the Ravenous Spirit upgrade, in my opinion, is often even a better choice than completed Vile Infection. But if he desires it, he will have it by 20. Dansky already setting up for a strong top lane push right here as red side clears mid, now cycling over to the top lane. And Dansky just rushing right in. Aggro zombie wall, aggro abilities, trying to get whatever siege they can. And I gotta say, the siege potential with Lunara and Nazebo just so critical here. Just able to get these keeps ridiculously well. Albatok struggling to stay alive, will be okay. Gunnar stepping forward for the stun, but this top keep just not able to stay up. The siege is huge. B-Kid missing the hook right there. They will just back off. But I gotta say, you gotta be very happy with that objective here at level 14. Opening up a lane, and not just any lane, but the very oh-so-critical top lane, notably where the boss goes. And now, already at level 14, ManChickens has very credibly opened up a win condition.
There's the root coming on out. Nice Rain of Vengeance as well. And Uther actually brought even further back to safety. Epic player going in, has to be saved by Zadie. Spins on down, tries to get the stun, and Stitches is actually going to be the one to go down here. Great recovery from 30k Violet as they're possibly looking for more. Porky trying to get a drag under towers, but does not connect here. 30k Violet doing a good job there, as that was looking a little bit dicey, but great abilities to make sure Stitches couldn't just walk away with Gunnar there.
30k Violet getting some turn-ins, got 10 more gems until they can get some web weavers of their own. Epic player taking a ton of damage from ManChicken on the side right there. Porky lurking at the moment. Gotta think about that Junkrat trap as well. Oh, the tongue on the Gunner out of the bush. It's beautiful. And that's a kill at the worst time for 30k Violet.
Couldn't get the self-D shield out that time. Is going to go down. Stitch is not here yet, but is on the way, as the red web weavers actually were able to be turned in, forcing ManChickens to come on through with the defense here.
Dansky's got a hair trigger on those Ravenous Spirits right there. Tried to get a kill onto Panda, but not able to do it with the assistance provided by Zadie, getting that critical healing in right there. Porky clearing out the web weaver in mid lane. And I gotta say, if you lose your tank as soon as your web weavers get turned in,
Junkrat
effectively,
has been taken. Colada pulled in, Polymorph comes out, Concussion Mine not able to be triggered. Nice hook there from B-Kid in between lanes.
ManChickens is doing everything in their power to just make this a clean 2-0. I believe this is a best of 3 at the moment, correct, Crush?
Correct.
Yes, just doing everything they can to take this out in a clean sweep. And it was looking like a solid 30k Violet. But again, you just see the competitive experience of ManChickens just shining through every single time. Every time they find themselves in even a bit of a pickle in the late game, they know exactly what to do. There's no tilt evident or present. They're just focused. They're saying, hey, this is how we make a play. This is how we get ourselves back in this, despite things looking a little rocky here and there. And not even super rocky, just a minor disadvantage. Although a huge keep right there. Just absolutely massive. And now Gunner backing off. Red side gonna take out their bruisers. Epic player Dansky doing the same on the left side.
ManChicken very aggressive there in the mid lane. Without that leaping strike, still stepping up and throwing in that damage wherever possible. B-Kid in the area, just thinking about a hook. But with these minions in the way, it is a little bit difficult. Porky thrown into the mix is going to have to use the burrow to get away. Polymorph is not going to be enough to stop the light bombs. Nazeebo is going to counter-ult that backline. Dansky trying to step forward, but great spacing from 30k Violet is going to turn off that damage. Hogger in the mix is unable to get away there and will go down. ManChickens is going to be on the chase.
ManChicken's ability to just get these pickoffs at the most crucial of times has been absolutely wonderful. Not sure why I said they were particularly disadvantaged earlier. I'm going to blame it on running on 4 hours of sleep right here as we see a boss being taken here in the top side. And this boss, keep in mind, has no keep hindering its advance all the way to the core right here. And it also looks like ManChicken's going to look to secure an objective.
This could be another perfect turn in here, actually. B-Kid going to step up. ManChickens flanking on the edge once again. Putting good damage onto Albatox as the boss is starting to march. Gunner taking a little bit low. Albatox trying to move away, but Porky in the backline wants to secure the kill. That's Vala going down, and a self-D shield forced out once again onto Uther. Big slow, but Zadie has the pull for the save. Hogger doesn't have a great angle to spin out of here. Takes too much damage and will fall. Boss is now on the core. There's 3 catapults and a big wave. ManChickens could try to end this right here.
Oh, ManChickens absolutely is going to try and end this right here as they advance forward. Boss still over half health at the moment, just not afraid to move forward. Porky taking a bit of damage. He's okay. This is going down clean. 2-0. Woo, in favor of ManChickens right there. I gotta say, it's funny seeing Porky's name with the 30k at the end of it. Defeating 30k Violet. It just looks a little bit ironic. But either way, right there, wonderfully executed by ManChickens just to clean out this series 2-0 off of some excellent macro play and teamfight play and just late game pickoffs in both games.
ManChickens just look like they're on another level right now. This squad has been putting in some big victories last week and now this week. Yeah, they're looking great out there. 2-0 is going to put them into the grand finals. Very nicely played. Take a quick look at the talents here. The only thing I wanted to point out was with Lunara taking Thornwood Vine, you can't use the leaping strike onto the core at the end of the game, which makes for a significantly less cool in-game screenshot.
And is it even a victory if you can't just successfully time your jumps to be right over the core? If you're not bringing a Hanzo to jump over the core, if you're not bringing a Lunara, I don't know if you could even do it with Junkrat, but that certainly seems like a possibility. But are you really trying? You know, if you're only winning 2-0 in dominating fashion,